You ever spend a decade building something with your bare hands, only to wake up one morning and find out someone else claims they own it? No? Well, let me tell you, nothing sharpens the edge of a man's temper quite like that. Especially when you thought you'd finally found peace. Especially when you're not the kind who rattles easy. So picture Thism, a half-wrecked veteran with too many scars and not enough patience for other people's nonsense, finally putting down roots on a patch of Colorado land that's rougher than a bar fight. Briar Creek Lake, tucked up in the pines, where the wind moans like it's carrying secrets. No road signs, no neighbors' wind chimes, no damn HOA newsletters wedged in the doorframe. Just sawdust settling, my sweat soaked into pine beams, and old stones I dragged up from the ridge, laid one slab at a time. My own personal slice of leave me the hell alone. I got the land from my uncle back in '07. He handed it to me in a way only old family does no drama. Just a handshake and a deed, his signature shaky but solid. No mortgage, no liens, no shared driveways or community flower beds. Just land. Mine. It started slow weekends, long leave from work, milled lumber from deadfall, and whatever barnwood I could salvage. Not because I had to, but because I wanted every nail in that place to mean something. First real roof over my head since I got back from my last tour. I'll never forget that sound rain tapping a roof I'd set myself. I called the county inspector out, got his sign off, and for the first time in almost 50 years, I had something that felt untouchable. Mounted 3 cameras old habit from overseas. One on the pine near the drive, one over the door, one watching the dock. Put up 3 signs, private property, and no trespassing, not part of any HOA. It felt almost silly, but I wanted to be clear. I wanted to be left alone. You ever see trouble walk up your drive in pressed beige slacks and a smile that's just a little too practiced? That's how Karen Brooks made her entrance queen of the Lakewood Garden Hills Homeowners Association, trailed by 2 clones with clipboards. She didn't say hello, didn't care who I was, just wanted to talk architectural compliance documentation, like I'd build a missile silo instead of cabin. I laughed, out loud, right in her face. Lady, you're standing on private dirt. Briar Ridge Incorporated, private, 15 years of taxes, signed county build permit. Your HOA can stay on your side of the lake. She bristled hard, flipped open her binder, and started talking about visual compliance. Turns out, according to Karen, if you can see my cabin from across the water, she thinks she can tell me how to stain my deck, what color to paint my roof, what kind of fence to build. I pointed at my sign, told her she had 60 seconds to get off my property before we talked about trespassing. She left, of course, but not before promising enforcement measures. Folks like her, they don't like hearing no. They come back. A couple days later, a letter showed up, crisp, white envelope, gold seal, legal threats inside. Non-compliance, in all caps. Claimed I owed $100 a day in fines, backdated to the day I started building. It was almost funny, except they'd copied the wrong address off Zillow. Still, I scanned it and sent it to Jenna, my attorney. Served together in Iraq. She could scare a tank with her stare. Jenna called me, nearly laughing. Garrett, this is HOA voodoo. You've got federal law, county records, and chain of title. They've got nothing. We pulled out all the receipts. Deed, permits, tax records, time-stamped photos. She put it all in a neat little rebuttal, notarized, sent certified mail to the HOA. Their headquarters was a converted garage at the back of Karen's cul-de-sac. Real intimidating, huh? Next thing I know, Karen herself is at my gate in a white Lexus, envelope in hand. She starts spinning stories about a legacy agreement, something her daddy supposedly worked out with my uncle at the Chamber of Commerce. Verbal contract. No paperwork. No signatures. Nothing but hot air. I told her the only thing she was transitioning was into a federal lawsuit. That must have stung, because things went from absurd to ugly real quick. New flyers popped up on telephone poles. Emergency community vote recapture Lakewood lots. Bizarre little meeting called for that night, at the community hall, where Karen stood up with a forgery-some hack job legacy conveyance agreement, with my uncle's name butchered at the bottom. I didn't show up. I'm not interested in farce. But I watched it all through the camera feed. By the next morning, eviction notices started showing up in my mailbox, official-looking, bad grammar, smudged addresses. They piled up like snowdrifts. Gossip started swirling at the feed store, people whispering about the vet on the ridge, causing trouble. Like I'd done something wrong. Jenna told me to keep calm, document everything. So I did every flyer, every letter, every face on camera. When they tried to send a kid up my drive with more propaganda, I told him flat out, "Don't let them use you, son." He just looked tired, said they'd offered to pay him to help post the flyers. Jenna fired off a formal cease and desist. We attached proof county records, deed, the whole chain of ownership, and a little bureaucratic trap. They had to sign for the letter. If they refused, it looked shady. If they signed and kept pushing, it was evidence of collusion. Karen took the bait. They doubled down. But see, I'm stubborn. I don't bend easy. I went to the county office, got their report, no record of any legacy agreement, no title chain break, nothing. I had them print it and stamp it. Armor. Did that stop them? No. Anonymous letters in my gate. We hope to come to an amicable resolution. You are endangering property values. Always unsigned, always masked in community concern. I started hearing my name in every conversation at the cafe, the gas station, the hardware store. Folks love a story, and Karen knew how to spin one. Then it got real. One afternoon, I came home to find a sign staked in my gravel, pending HOA action. Unsafe structurito, not occupy. Printed, not laminated, HOA seal in the corner. I checked my cameras, caught Zach Brooks, Karen's pride and joy, planting it. Hammer in hand, smirk on his face. Jenna went full war mode, protective orders, motions to escalate. I reported the trespassing, filed complaints. And then a neighbor, a quiet woman named Marcia, showed up with a thermos of coffee and an envelope of internal HOA newsletters. Turns out, Karen had been prepping enforcement agents to enter my land. Marcia said, "I don't like bullies, especially ones in pearls." Landon, my PX sheriff, dug up the real gold. Emails between Karen and board members, one after another, laying out the plan. Start the narrative now. Post about community disruption. Call in favor votes. If we control the tone, the facts won't matter. That's how these people work. They manufacture their own truth. By now, Jenna had enough for a lawsuit thick as a Bible. Over 70 pages of documentation, chain of title, tax receipts, digital copies of every forged notice, camera footage, even a handwriting analyst report. Our suit wasn't just cease and desist. It was defamation, property interference, attempted coercion, forgery, and fraud. Karen countersued, of course. Claimed psychological tranquility had been disrupted. Threw in her son, Zach, for good measure, a real peach, with a history of credit card fraud and evictions. Landon found out Zach had been arrested for trying to set fire to a boathouse 2 towns over. Jenna just smiled. They've added a clown to the circus. That helps us. But harassment didn't stop. Drones buzzing overhead, trash dumped in my driveway. More "this land was promised" signs staked to the fence. I brought in Briggs, a friend from the old day Sex Scout, sniper turned private security. We rigged up new alarms, motion sensors, backup hard drives for the cameras. Not for fear, for evidence. One night, motion alert 2 silhouettes by the dock. One with spray paint, one with bolt cutters. Sheriff caught one Zach again. Lighter fluid, gloves, backpack full of tools. The DA filed new charges. Karen scrambled, made a video for the HOA, Facebook, dangerous loner, military paranoia. That was all the judge needed. When court day finally came, Karen showed up polished, pearls and all, like she was heading to a charity brunch instead of a fraud trial. I had my people, Jenna, Briggs, Mark the surveyor, 2 neighbors ready to testify. Jenna laid out the whole story: deeds, camera footage, forged documents, emails, you name it. Karen's lawyer tried to play the verbal promise card. The judge shot him down. If it's not in writing, it's not in court. Handwriting analyst ripped apart the fake agreement. County zoning officer confirmed Karen's plan to annex my land a decade ago got rejected. Karen tried to deny everything. Clerical misunderstanding. Don't recall. Judge wasn't buying it. When the gavel dropped, it felt like the world finally let out a breath. Full property rights to me. HOA's claims declared fraudulent. Forged documents sent to the DA for criminal charges. Karen herself found liable trespass, defamation, coercion. Damages and fees, $185,000. Judge ordered an audit of the HOA cracks everywhere. Charter under review. After, Jenna clapped me on the back. You just made case law. The next morning, peace. Just wind through the pines, the lake slapping the rocks, and the quiet weight of it's over. Karen got 6 months in county for fraud and forgery. Her mugshot ran in the local paper. The HOA board fractured. Treasurer issued a public apology, and suddenly, nobody wanted to be Karen's friend anymore. 3 days after the verdict, neighbors I barely knew showed up with tools and beer. Heard you could use a hand with a new dock, one said. A laugh eater, real laugh, deep and easy. We built together cedar deck, solar panels, new path to the dock. The land felt clean again. Mine again. On the post by my front gate, I hung a sign I'd carved myself. Burned letters deep in the oak. 10 years by hand. No son of Karen shall pass. Someone snapped a photo, posted it online. Went viral for a while. Got a letter from a town over, use your case to stop our HOA from seizing a family orchard. That's enough. You don't need to answer every letter when your story's already rolling. As for Karen's boy, Zach disappeared. Moved out west, last I heard. Car got repossessed, ended up at a ski rental. I don't wish him bad, but I hope he learns what it means to build something for himself. Me? I just keep building. For peace this time, not defense. Hammer, sawdust, pine there's clarity in work you own, not just on paper, but in your soul. I don't check the cameras much now, not because I'm careless, but because no one comes up that road unless I invite them. That's how it should be. But let me ask you, where's the line between protecting your home and becoming the villain in someone else's story? You ever had to fight for something you built with your own hands just to keep it from people who never lifted a finger? Tell me, what would you have done in my boots? Drop your thoughts below, maybe even share your own story. I bet I'm not the only one who's had to draw a line in the dirt and say, not today.
Cảm ơn tất cả các bạn đã xem video.